Okay, so let's talk about equilibrium calculations. Equilibrium calculations may or may not involve solubility rules, and I did want to summarize them for you here. The important ones that you need to know, I would say, are group 1 is always soluble. The chlorides and halides are soluble except for with silver, mercury, and lead. And then that the acetates, hydrogen carbonates, nitrates, and chlorates are always soluble. The rest are ones that are good to know, but not necessary. I would, if you have room, write them down so that you have them for later. So among the solubility rules previously discussed, which is what I summarized up here, carbonates, phosphates, borates, and arsenates, except for those of ammonium ions and alkali metals, which is group 1, are insoluble. Write the expression for the equilibrium constant for the reaction represented by the equation of calcium carbonate dissolving into calcium ions and carbonate ions. So, the equilibrium constant for that would be concentration of calcium 2 plus times the concentration of CO3 2 minus. You'll notice that calcium carbonate, which is a solid, does not appear in this expression. And now it's asking, is Kc greater than 1, less than 1, or equal to 1? And this comes back to those solubility rules. And said here that carbonates, phosphates, etc., except for with ammonium ions, are insoluble. So that means very little of it goes to products. And if very little goes to products, this number is going to be really small. And so I would predict that Kc is less than 1 because carbonates are insoluble. Same thing here. So now we have this equation. Write the expression for the equilibrium constant for the reaction represented by this equation. So we're going to look at our products. This is a solid, so I'm not going to have anything there. So Kc is going to equal 1 divided by Ba 2 plus, and that's going to be cubed, times the concentration of PO4 3 minus, and that's going to be squared. Now it's asking, is Kc greater than 1, less than 1, or equal to 1? So we're looking at our phosphate rules. So now it says phosphates, except for those with ammonia and the alkali metals, group 1, are insoluble. This is group 2. So it's going to be almost all here, and this number in the denominator is going to be very, very small. So 1 over a very small number, like 0.01, let's say, if you do that in your calculator, what kind of answer do you get? I get 100. So I'm going to predict that Kc is greater than 1. And it's again for the same reason, because it will be mostly products. And since that number can't change, it's going to be 1 divided by a very small number. It's going to be a large number. So the other type of calculations that you can be asked to do, and I'm going to do a separate video on that, is going to be where I give you concentrations at any time and ask you to calculate Q and compare Q to K. and then predict which way it'll shift. And you should remember how to do that from class. Because whenever we get a Kc value, that's a constant, equilibrium constant for concentration. So the calculation always has to come back to that number. I hope this helps. Let me know if you need anything else.